What? You don't even want to be in Milwaukee.
Huh?
When the last time you heard somebody, man, I'm moving to Milwaukee from Los Angeles?
LeBron's been chasing championships all over the globe. He may have to chase to Milwaukee.
And tracking them down. It ain't what you chase, it's what you catch. And he done called 4 of them things, too. Got some more coming, too.
Nothing against Milwaukee, nothing against the Midwest, but it is this time of year around here. Do you guys see James Harden getting a lot of attention yesterday? Well, he did make his preseason debut last night. But just this morning, reports have surfaced saying the Rockets created a culture built around giving Harden whatever he wanted. According to multiple former coaches and staff members, the motto was, quote, whatever James wants. This included practice schedules, extended road trips in cities that Harden liked, and also final calls on team personnel. One former staffer said, quote, James has never heard no before. So, Shannon, did the Rockets make a mistake giving Harden too much power?
Well, Skip Bayless that's been covering professional sports for 40 years said all the great coaches and general managers and owners said superstars win games. And you want as many of those guys as you possibly can have. And you realize that when you get one of those guys, you're going to have to cede or you're going to have to acquiesce to a lot of his demands. And it seems to me, Skip, it takes a special type of person to have power and not abuse it. And it seems to me...
True statement.
It seems to me that James Harden realized that he had the power and he abused it. Well, you know what? They're not going to tell me no, so let's stay an extra couple of days so I can kick it with little baby. Let me stay a couple of extra days so I can hang out and go to this city and do that. And so what happened was, and see, now it's starting to come, this is why probably Chris Paul, this is why Russell Westbrook probably had a problem. It wasn't...
Well, this story says they definitely had these problems.
Yeah, so now we're starting to see, because Skip, something's not adding up. You want a guy, your best friend, y'all kicked it from knee-high to a grasshopper. And all of a sudden, he wanted out before James Harden even mentioned anything about getting out. Chris Paul bounced. Dwight Howard bounced. So now you're starting to see it had a lot to do with it. And Skip, I watched it last night. I know, look here, I ain't saying James Harden no workout warrior, but I can tell he ain't worked out not one day.
Not one day. he was carrying at least 10 extra, right?
Yeah, look, Skip, I ain't saying he need to be like LeBron or have a Giannis or Dwight Howard type body, but this is ridiculous, James. I mean, you are
He hadn't even lifted his hand to trim his beard, right?
No, man.
He had the big old bushy Kendrick Perkins beard going, right?
And I think the thing is, Skip, is that when you look at it, you see James Harden has led the league in scoring 3 consecutive years. You look at the triple, he can go get you a 50-point triple-double. He's in the MVP discussion every year.
Every year.
You give, he take. And now, all of a sudden, he's like, well, I ain't got nothing else to take. Y'all ain't got nothing else to give. I want to go. And therein lies the problem that the Rockets have. Everything they've done over the last 8 years, yes, Skip, they're trying to win a title for themselves, but they gave in to James Harden demands. And now they got nothing else to give. And so now what do? He's like, well, y'all ain't got nothing else to give. Y'all can't bring any more players. Nobody else wants to play with me. Well, get me up out of here. And if I'm the Rockets, I'm going to hold on. James Harden is starting the season. Skip, I know you don't want to tick superstar players off, but I'm holding on because James Harden has basically, by him being the way he is, he's kind of decreased the value of what you can actually get. Skip, that's a superstar. Superstars normally command young players and draft picks. Look what AD got. Look what a Holiday they gave up to get Holiday. And you want to give James Harden away for a bag of pennies and a loaf of bread? Nah, bro, that's not happening. But James Harden, you're wrong for this one, bro. Hey, you're a phenomenal talent, but you're wrong for how you've done this.
Okay, I hear everything you just said. The Houston Rockets have fallen deeper and deeper into what I call the James Harden trap because he's hard to hate. He's hard not to love.
Right.
Daryl Morey just left Houston and left behind a full-page ad thanking James Harden for changing my life, said Daryl Morey.
Right.
He is a revolutionary talent. We have never seen anybody score the basketball from the perimeter the way James can. We have never, ever, ever seen anybody get to the free throw line the way James can and make his free throws.
He shoots more, makes more than anybody in the history of the game.
He just shatters the record every year. We have rarely seen a player more durable than James Harden. LeBron's up there, but James is really up there. He just does not get hurt.
Right.
He will play through any minor ankle sprain, shoulder bruise, and he takes his fair share of punishment at the rim, as you know. You realize that he's been there for 8 years now in Houston. They have made the playoffs all 8 years, and they are the only team in the entire league who has made the playoffs over that span every year. Even, obviously, the Lakers in LeBron's first year missed the playoffs, right?
And they had missed it.
They had missed it a bunch before, but I'm saying it's just happened to everybody. Everybody's had a bad year somewhere.
Even Golden State.
Even Golden. Well, they had the worst record in basketball last year. So only Houston can say, hey, we made the playoffs 8 straight times. Now back to LeBron. Obviously, LeBron has earned the right to dictate within the confines of the Lakers, maybe a practice schedule, an off day. I'm sure he does that. I'm also pretty sure LeBron is not late. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if they say the bus leaves at X or the plane leaves at Y, LeBron is on time for that, because I just think that's the way he runs his life.
Yeah, that's just professional courtesy.
And he knows that ultimately that is the first step toward winning. In all the teams I've ever covered, rule number one, and you've said this many times to me, you have to be on time.
Gotta be.
It's offensive to you as a team leader if anybody is late, because they're taking money out of your pockets, because ultimately that's why you're going to lose a playoff game, is because that lack of discipline can carry over.
Right.
So that's why Russell Westbrook, according to the ESPN story, last year just fell completely apart with James because he was just perpetually late to bus, plane, or film session. After a while, it drove Russ crazy because that Oklahoma City Thunder operation, it was military-esque, militaristic, if you will.
Yes.
It was on time or pay the fine.
Right.
And in this case, there was a bubble incident that's written about in the ESPN piece in which Russ is on time for the film session. It's in the playoffs. Here we go. And guess who's late? Because he scheduled his COVID test right up against the start of the film session. Well, that's just blatant disregard and disrespect.
Absolutely.
So Russ is offended to the point where he's yelling at D'Antoni, start the film, start it now. And D'Antoni's saying, I can't because I'll just have to run it back. Do you want to watch it twice? Because I'm going to have to show James the same things I'm about to show you. And Russ is just throwing up his hands, and that seemed like that was the beginning of the end.
Skip, the thing is that you want your leaders. The thing that worked so well in New England, Skip, is that Tom was on time.
He was.
Tom did it the right way. Skip, you can't have your leaders be this undisciplined and then expect everybody else to fall in line. They're just going to take the cue from you.
Okay, so all the off-day stuff, the rescheduling on the road, all of a sudden James is going to take, if you get an off day on the road, I'm going to take a private flight to Vegas and party for a night. I'm okay with that occasionally because the point in the piece was he'll come right back the next night and give you what you point out, a 50-point triple-double. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm good with off days in L.A. where you say, if you're not back-to-back, obviously, let's stay overnight in L.A. Let's stay an extra day in L.A. because it's L.A., it's wintertime. Let's stay there. Let's stay in Phoenix for a day.
There's really no winter in L.A. and Phoenix.
Okay, I got it. But I'm good with all that. Now let's get back to LeBron versus James Harden. LeBron's earned the right to dictate some off days and practice schedules, but LeBron has paid that off by getting teams to 10 NBA finals. Not 8 or 6 or 4, 10.
Right.
And he won 4 out of 10. That's payoff. That's earning your right to have that power you talk about.
Right.
James Harden has gotten the Rockets, even though he's gotten them to 8 straight playoffs, he's gotten them to 0 NBA finals, and he's obviously won 0 NBA finals. He's gotten them to 2 Western Conference finals, and what happened in both of them? Flameouts happened, featuring James Harden. So as great as he's been during the regular season, as hard as he played on defense last year in the regular season, he was top 3 in deflections and loose balls recovered last year. All that added up to what? Well, too many Western Conference Finals flameouts that first year, remember, against Golden State back in 2015. In the closeout game, He went 2 of 11 from the floor, 0 for 3 from 3, and he had an NBA record 12 turnovers. 12 turnovers? This is it. The money's on the table. Really?
Was that the Golden State game?
Yeah.
The one he dribbled it off his foot at the end of the game.
Yeah, okay. Then we got too many. There are too many here for me to even go through, but you remember the classic Spurs closeout game. There's no Tony Parker and no Kawhi Leonard playing for my Spurs at Houston in a closeout game 6.
And he got beat by 50.
They lost by 39 points. And James in that game had 6 turnovers, shot 2 of 11 from the floor and 2 of 9 from 3. Okay, that's who he is. And then the 2018 Western Conference Finals. This is the closest that franchise got to greatness with James Harden. Remember, they're up 3 games to 2, in large part because of Chris Paul III, right? And then Chris Paul, right on schedule, too often has happened to him,